remember retirement isn't the end of the road, right? It's like it's a brand new beginning, and it's time for you to explore, grow, and create the life you've always dreamed of.
Yes, that is so important. And just remember, it's okay to feel a little lost at first. You will. Adjusting takes time, but with communication, planning, and an open mind, you'll find your rhythm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get It Together, the podcast where we talk about all things marriage. Those things are up, those things that are down, all those things. And I'm Stephen,
And I am Corey. Today's episode is for anyone going through or even thinking about one of life's biggest transitions, retirement.
Yes, that's right, retirement. It isn't just about leaving a job. It's about stepping into a brand new chapter. And let's be real. It can be a big adjustment, especially when it comes to marriage relationships and figuring out what's next and so forth.
That's right. And we always promise you stats and facts. So did you know from the U.S. Department of Labor that the average American spends 20 years in retirement? That's 2 full decades of life after work.
You know what? That's a long time. And during those 20 years, many couples face challenges like, redefining their purpose or navigating changes in relation, even managing their social circles and finances.
Yeah. So in this episode, we'll dive into those challenges, share viewers' stories, and give you tips on how to create a fulfilling and joyful post-retirement life. So stick around up until the end where we'll share some personal advice and reflections from our own experiences.
Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the number one thing we have to talk about is the big question. What are the most common challenges people face after retirement?
The first one that comes to my mind is identity. For years, the job defines you. And after retirement, a lot of people ask, who am I, without my career?
And when you're suddenly spending 24/7 together as a couple, well, it can be a lot.
That reminds me of a story from one of our listeners, Gloria. She told us that after her husband retired, she felt like her house became his new office. And suddenly he was rearranging her kitchen cabinets like they were a spreadsheet or something,
Oh, Gloria, we feel you. That is such a common experience. And it's not just about sharing space. It's about learning how to share your time differently.
Yeah. And we can't forget the financial stress, the dough. Even if you've planned well, switching to a fixed income can be an adjustment as well. It's like a whole new mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So the key takeaway here, these challenges are normal and you're not alone. It's with some planning and communication. Just remember that they're totally manageable. So we're going to give you some stories here.
Now, let's talk about mistakes people make after retirement because, we've all made them, right?
That's so true. Absolutely. And one common mistake is not having a plan beyond finances. Remember, retirement isn't just about money. It's about how you spend your time also.
Exactly. And here's a great example. One of our listeners, Jim, told us that after retiring, he thought he'd just, relax and take it easy. But after a few months, he was bored out of his mind. He said, you know what? I never realized how much I would miss having a schedule.
Yeah, and that's true because we get into these habits, right? So another mistake we've seen is couples not talking about their expectations. Like one partner assumes they'll travel the world while the other one just wants to stay home.
I know. And let's not forget the importance of personal space as well. Just because you're retired doesn't mean you need to do everything together, right?
Everything together. So what's the takeaway here? Don't wing it. Talk about your goals, your expectations, and how you'll spend your time, both together and apart.
So, all right, let's get into some practical tips to help you navigate retirement like a pro.
So here we go. Tip number 1, establish a new routine, even if it's as simple as morning coffee at the same time or dedicating afternoons to hobbies. Routines create structure. Remember that.
I would say tip number 2 is to stay active physically, mentally, and socially, whether it's like Joining a fitness club, learning a new skill, or volunteering, stay engaged is really key.
Yeah, and one of my favorite ideas is starting a joint project together with your partner, whether it's gardening or home renovations, or even starting a small business. It's a great way to bond.
And here's an important one. Make time for yourself, okay? Have some hobbies, have some interests, and things that are just yours.
Yeah.
It keeps things fresh and gives you something exciting to share with your partner or your wife.
So a key takeaway here is retirement is your chance to reinvent yourself. So embrace it. Find new passions, keep moving, and stay curious. So important to keep your mind going, keep invigorating yourself. Let's talk about setting goals, because having a sense of purpose is essential after retirement.
It's very true. And short-term goals could be things like planning a trip, learning a new skill, or decluttering your home.
Yeah.
Right?
And long-term goals. Wow. You might include creating retirement bucket list, or even deciding when and if you want to move closer to your family.
Yeah, one couple we spoke to shared how they set, a goal to essentially visit all of the national parks during their retirement. It gave them, a shared sense of adventure.
Yeah, and that's a great way to be closer. So a takeaway here is have goals, big or small, keep you focused and give your days meaning. So don't forget to revisit those goals regularly.
Before we wrap up, I want to share the story that happened actually to us. We were semi-retired and we had moved to a beautiful lakefront community. It was a community of individuals who were all predominantly 55 years and older. It was one of those places where instead of a health club or a gym, they had a wellness center and pickleball courts and so forth. So we joined actually one of the 126 social clubs that the community offered. And when we were introduced as the new members or the newest members of the club, we said, hey, we're semi-retired, which we received like a big round of boo. They informed us that we are just starting on a new journey of life. And our personal insight is to remember retirement isn't the end of the road, right? It's a brand new beginning, and it's time for you to explore, grow, and create the life you've always dreamed of.
Yes, that is so important. Yeah. And just remember, it's okay to feel a little lost at first. You will. Adjusting takes time, but with communication, planning, and an open mind, you'll find your rhythm.
It's true. And here's my personal advice, and that is, be intentional, whether it's like carving out time for a hobby or scheduling, a weekly date night or just having quiet moments to reflect. Don't let the days, just slip by.
And my advice, keep learning, whether it's through books, classes, or experiences. Growth doesn't stop when you retire. The more you grow, the richer this season of your life will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, folks, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. It helps others find the podcast and join this wonderful community.
It does. And also share this episode with someone who's navigating retirement or even thinking about it. It could be just what they need. Also, share with us if you're going through retirement experiences. Connect with us at Stephen and Corey on Facebook and YouTube, and we just might share it in a full episode. Also, follow us on X and Instagram as well. And if you enjoy listening to your podcast, then follow us on Spotify under our show name, Get It Together Together.
So, hey guys, thanks for spending this time with us today. And remember, retirement is a new beginning. Embrace it, enjoy it, and make it your own.
We'll see you on the next Get It Together Together.